I thought our marriage had no secrets until her hidden daughter knocked on our door. I found out my marriage had secret DLC on a Tuesday. We were halfway through takeout in some Netflix true crime thing when Leah put her chopsticks down very carefully, like she was defusing a bomb, and said, "I need to tell you something." I figured it was about work, or her mom, or that she'd ordered another expensive rug off Instagram. Regular married people problems. Instead, my wife of 8 years looked me in the eye and said, "I have a daughter." I actually laughed, like out loud. I thought she was setting up a joke. Then she kept talking. "Before you," she said, "when I was 20, I got pregnant. I carried to term. I gave her up for adoption." The room did that weird tunnel thing, where sound goes far away and your own heartbeat gets really loud. Leah's kitchen light suddenly felt like the interrogation lamp from every cop show. "You, what?" was the best my brain could manage. She started talking fast, like she'd rehearsed it. College, panic, no support, an agency, closed adoption, years of pretending it never happened. She said it all like she was reading off an old report, deliberately not looking at me. "And now?" I finally asked. She found me. Her name's Allie. She's 19. Things have been rough for her. Medical stuff, money, a bad home situation. Leah swallowed. She needs help. 8 years. 8 years of, we're both child-free, thank God. 8 years of, I never wanted kids. 8 years of me getting a vasectomy at 37 because it's what we both want. I stared at the woman who had been my safe person and thought, "Oh, I don't actually know you." "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. She exhaled like I was being unreasonable. "Because it was over. It was done. I genuinely thought it would never matter. But it does," I said. "Right now, it matters." Leah pressed on anyway. "She's had a horrible time. I can't ignore her, not when she's reached out. I need to be there for her." There was a word missing from that sentence. We, and I felt it like a draft under a locked door. "So, what are you thinking?" I asked, already knowing I wasn't going to like the answer. Leah hesitated, then said, "I told her she can stay with us for a while, get back on her feet." "You already told her that?" My voice cracked halfway through the sentence. "She had nowhere else to go," Leah snapped. What was I supposed to say? "Sorry, my husband hasn't processed his feelings." "Oh, I don't know," I said. "Maybe, let me talk to my husband before I promise him a new life." Her face shuddered. "She's my daughter, Tom." "And I'm your husband," I shot back. Or was that a limited time offer? We slept in the same bed that night, backs turned, the space between us suddenly Grand Canyon-sized. I stared at the ceiling fan and replayed every conversation we'd ever had about kids, all those confident declarations of being on the same page. Turns out we were reading different books. The next day I tried to be mature about it. I came home with a list: therapy, family counseling, ground rules, timelines. Some way to turn this from emotional grenade into complicated situation we're handling like adults. Leah barely glanced at it. "You're overthinking this," she said. "She just needs a safe place. We have a guest room. It's not complicated." I felt my jaw clench. "It is for me. You hid a whole human being from me for 8 years, Leah. That's pretty complicated." She rolled her eyes. "I didn't hide her. I just didn't talk about it. Because it hurt and because I didn't think it mattered anymore." "If it didn't matter," I said quietly, "why do you want her here now?" That actually stopped her. For half a second, I saw the fear underneath all that steamrolling. Then she shut it down. "Because she's my responsibility," she said. "And if you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you." "I need time," I said. That was the most honest thing I had. Leah's mouth twisted. "Time for what? To decide whether you're going to be selfish or not?" There it was, the verdict. I stood there in our kitchen, in the house we picked because it was perfect for two, and realized I'd just failed a test I didn't know I was taking. A few nights later, I walked in and heard Leah in the living room, voice soft and careful. "Of course, sweetheart. Yes. You have a place here. We'll figure everything out when you get here." When, not if. When she hung up, she didn't even bother with a preamble this time. "She'll be here next week," Leah said. I hope by then you'll have decided which side you're on. Apparently, those were my options now: dad by surprise or villain of the story. Allie showed up on a gray Thursday that couldn't decide if it wanted to rain. I came home early from work just in time to see a battered sedan in our driveway, coughing out exhaust like a smoker trying to quit. The girl standing next to it looked smaller than 19, wrapped in an oversized hoodie and holding a duffel bag that had seen better decades. She and Leah were hugging on the porch when I pulled up. Leah had that soft, glowing look you usually only see in commercials for baby wipes. It was unsettling. When Allie turned to me, I saw Leah's eyes on a stranger's face. Same shape, same color, but wary. Like a stray cat deciding whether your outstretched hand meant food or trap. "Allie," Leah said, that new maternal note in her voice. "This is Tom, my husband. Your stepfather hung unspoken in the air like a bad smell." I stuck my hand out. "Hey, nice to meet you." She shook it cautiously. Her palm was damp and cold. "Thanks for letting me stay," she muttered. If we were keeping score, I hadn't actually agreed to that, but I just nodded. "We, set up the guest room for you." Truth, Leah had set up the guest room. I had watched, equal parts numb and fascinated, as she bought bedding in colors she said a teenage girl would like. Then remembered Allie wasn't a teenager, then got flustered and bought more neutral stuff. Allie followed us inside, eyes flicking over everything. The couch, the framed photos, the ridiculous espresso machine I'd splurged on last year. She looked like someone touring a museum exhibit called Functional Adults. Leah talked nonstop, filling the silence with nervous info dumping, Wi-Fi password, towels, fridge rules, neighborhood basics. It was like watching someone speedrun motherhood. I hovered, feeling like a guest star in my own life. Later, after the whirlwind tour, Allie retreated to the guest room to lie down for a bit. Leah and I stood in the hallway. "She seems sweet," I said, because it was true and also the only safe sentence I had. Leah's shoulders sagged with relief. "She is. You'll see." "Leah," I said carefully, "I'm trying, but you have to admit this is a lot." Her face tightened. "It's more for her than for you." "Cool," I said. "Love being third place in my own house." Her eyes flashed. "You know what? I don't have the energy for your self-pity right now." I watched her walk away toward Allie's door, that soft voice turning back on like a switch. I went to our bedroom, shut the door, and sat on the edge of the bed. Through the wall, I could hear Leah laughing at something Allie said. It was a sound I used to think was mine. The first week felt like hosting a foreign exchange student from a country called Complicated Feelings. Allie mostly stayed in her room, emerging for food and the occasional awkward attempt at small talk. Up close, she looked tired in a way you don't see on young faces often. Dark circles, the kind of guarded posture that says life has never really been gentle. Leah hovered. Every cough got a, "Are you okay, honey?" Every wince, "Do you need your meds?" Allie had some vague, ongoing medical thing that Leah explained in the most unhelpful way possible. All hand-waving and, "We'll talk to a doctor here." I started cooking more, partly because it gave me something to do with my hands, and partly because ordering pizza for 3 every night felt like surrender. One night, I made tacos, and Allie wandered in, drawn by the smell like a wary raccoon. She perched at the far end of the table. Leah sat practically in her lap. I took the opposite side, balancing my plate on a placemat I suddenly hated. "So, I said, "where are you from originally, Allie?" She shrugged. "Bounced around a lot, mostly with my adoptive mom's parents, then with my ex, now here." She said it like listing bus stops. Leah flinched at adoptive. I pretended not to notice. "What are you into?" I tried again. "School, music, whatever." "Used to like drawing," she said. Kinda stopped. She pushed lettuce around her plate. "Not a lot of time for hobbies when you're working double shifts." Leah jumped in. "She's been doing everything on her own for years. It's not fair. She deserves a chance to just be a kid." 19, Allie said dryly. "Kinda aged out of that." I snorted before I could stop myself. A flicker of something amused passed through her eyes, and for 1 second, we were on the same side of the joke. After dinner, Leah went to take a call. I stayed behind to deal with dishes. Allie hovered in the doorway. "You don't have to clean up," I said. "We've got a system." She smirked. "Let me guess. You do it." "Sharp kid," I said. I nodded toward the living room where Leah's voice carried. "Yeah, that's kind of been the vibe." She leaned against the counter. "You didn't know about me, did you?" Straight to it, no warm-up. "No," I said. "I didn't." She studied my face like she was waiting for me to lie. "And you didn't want kids." I rinsed a plate. "We agreed not to. That was important to me, and I thought to her." She picked at a torn cuticle. "If it helps, I wasn't exactly planning on becoming someone's surprise plot twist either." That pulled a laugh out of me, a real one. "Yeah, guess we're both extras in each other's movie." Her mouth twitched. "I don't know how long I'll be here," she said. "Leah keeps acting like this is forever." She swallowed. "Forever freaks me out." "Join the club," I said quietly. We looked at each other for a beat. Two people in the same house, both wondering what exactly we'd signed up for. Then Leah's voice floated in from the hallway, syrupy and bright. "Allie, sweetie, you okay?" Allie straightened like she'd been caught stealing. "Yeah, I'm fine," she called and slipped away. I realized, loading the dishwasher, that she and I shared one thing for sure. Neither of us had actually been asked what we wanted. The blow-up came over cereal, which, in hindsight, feels appropriate. It was Saturday. I was at the table with coffee and a bowl of Cheerios, scrolling through rentals on my phone. Quiet little one-bedrooms with no guest rooms, no surprise daughters, no conversations about whether the health insurance covered dependents. Leah came in, saw my screen, and froze. "What's that?" "Craigslist," I said. "Apparently I might be in the market for a life raft." Her face went pale, then red. "You're looking for apartments?" "Yep." I set the phone down. "Figured if Allie's staying, someone should move out. And she's clearly not your first choice." "That's not funny," she snapped. "Wasn't a joke." She glanced down the hall. Like Allie might materialize at the word. "We are not doing this right now. Not when she's finally feeling a little safe." "When I haven't felt safe in weeks," I said. "When my entire understanding of my marriage got nuked." Leah slammed her hand on the table hard enough to slosh my coffee. "I will not apologize for choosing my daughter." "There it is," I said softly. "You keep saying I'm making you choose. Newsflash, you already did." "What was I supposed to do?" she cried. "Tell her no. Tell her, 'Sorry, my husband doesn't want kids. Go back to your miserable life.'" "How about," I said, "tell her the truth, that your husband didn't know she existed, that you lied to him, and you're trying to fix it without blowing everything up." She opened her mouth, then closed it. For a second, the mask slipped and I saw raw panic underneath. "I was scared," she whispered. "I thought if I told you, you'd leave." "So you waited until leaving felt like my only honest option," I said. "Great strategy." We might have kept going, but that's when Allie appeared in the doorway, pale and sweaty, one hand pressed to her side. She said. "Not to interrupt the marital cage match or anything, but I think I need a hospital." The room snapped into focus. Leah bolted to her, eyes wide. I was already grabbing my keys. The drive was a blur of red lights and beeping monitors. Turns out Allie's medical stuff was a chronic condition that had been half managed on cheap clinic meds and stubbornness. The ER doc looked at us like we were the world's most clueless parents as he explained things Leah should have known weeks ago if she'd led with doctor instead of throw pillows for the guest room. While Allie slept, hooked up to fluids, Leah sat hunched in the plastic chair, wringing her hands. "I should have brought her in sooner," she whispered. "Yeah," I said. "You should have." She looked at me, eyes rimmed red. "Are you going to say I ruined everything again?" I sighed. "Leah, I'm exhausted. You're exhausted. She's in pain. Maybe we can postpone the blame Olympics." Something in her posture sagged. For the first time since this started, she looked less like a steamroller and more like a person who really had no idea what she was doing. "I don't know how to be her mom," she admitted. "I just feel like I owe her everything." "You don't owe her everything," I said. "You owe her honesty, stability, a plan." "And what do I owe you?" she asked quietly. I stared at the monitors. Same list, honestly. We sat there in that humming, fluorescent quiet. Two people who had built a life on being sure about one thing, no kids, while a 19-year-old slept between us, rewriting the script. Allie was discharged 2 days later with a stack of prescriptions and a follow-up schedule long enough to be its own novel. I handled the paperwork because I speak fluent bureaucrat, and Leah hovered because hovering was her new default setting. Back home, I made pasta while Allie lay on the couch, pale but chatty in that loopy post-hospital way. Leah fussed over blankets. For a second, if you squinted, we looked like a family. It hurt more than I expected. That night, Allie went to bed early. Leah and I ended up in the kitchen again, the scene of most of our disasters. The apartment listings were still open on my phone, a silent third party at the table. I talked to Allie, I said. Just us. Leah tensed. About what? About expectations? About timelines? About the fact that I didn't know about her, and that I'm not exactly dad material. I met her eyes. She gets it more than you think. Leah's shoulders dropped an inch. What did she say? That she doesn't want to blow up our marriage, I said. That she's grateful to be here, but she doesn't want to be the reason everything falls apart. I managed a small smile. Also that we both need therapy, which, honestly, fair. Leah huffed out a laugh that was mostly air. Smart kid. Yeah. Silence settled again, but it felt less like a chokehold and more like a crossroad. I can't stay, I said finally. Her face crumpled before she caught it. Tom, I'm not doing this to punish you, I said. I just can't live in a house where huge things are secrets until they explode, where I get cast as selfish for being blindsided. I swallowed. You want to be a mom now? That's okay. But I didn't sign up for that, and you don't actually want a half-in, half-out resentful guy haunting the hallway. Tears hovered in her eyes. She blinked them back. So that's it? 8 years and you just walk? Not just, I said. I'll help with Allie's paperwork, connect her with some resources, maybe even co-sign if she wants her own place eventually. I'm not abandoning a kid who landed here by surprise. But as your husband, I shook my head. That version of us doesn't survive this. She leaned on the counter, breathing like someone who'd run a long way, and finally stopped. I hate that you're right, she whispered. Me too. We told Allie together the next day. She took it with that tired grace of someone who has seen adults implode before. I kind of figured, she said. I'm sorry. For my part in it. None of this is your fault, I said. You didn't ask to be the plot twist. She gave me a crooked smile. Still am, though. Yeah, I said, but you're also a person. Don't let anyone forget that, not even you. I moved into a small one-bedroom a few weeks later. No guest room, just a couch that folds out if necessary. Leah and I text about logistics now, appointments, documents, the occasional update when Allie sends her a drawing again. Sometimes I miss the old life, the quiet evenings, the certainty. Then I remember it was only quiet because something big was taped over and hidden in the walls. Life goes on. For Leah, learning how to be a mother to a grown kid. For Allie, learning what it means when adults actually show up. And for me, apparently, learning that starting over at 42 isn't the end of the world. It's just a new page, one I get to read before someone else writes all over it.